Hey people, this is video 4 of like shit about me, but this one's gonna be about my epilepsy. So I was born with it, and I know that I was on phenobarbital as an infant, and I did some research about it, and that's a fucking hardcore drug to give an infant. Anyway, yeah, been off and on seizuring throughout my life, and yeah, heaps of weird shit around my health because of it. And during when I found out I was pregnant and all of that, you know, with my twins, we had to change my medication because it was, going to be too bad for the twins, in my womb and all that kind of shit. But they trialed me on like many different others, like I've got a giant list of fucking medication they trialed me on, anticonvulsants, and a lot of them I had like reactions to. I remember lamotrigine, I came out with a terrible as fuck rash, like a shingles kind of rash over my body. And then they trialed me on like fucking a couple of different other ones, and they kind of affected my mental health, and I spun out into like a severe depression and shit like that, and was zombified. And yeah, and then they picked one, and it started with C. It's like citrulline or something like that. I can't remember the exact name. Citrulline. I don't know, something along those lines. Starting with C anyway. And that one seemed to work, but I was like becoming immune to that one as well. And so my dose was getting upped and upped every fucking couple of weeks, and I'd have to take extra, because of my twitches and stuff. And yeah, and then I got like severely fucking ill because I lost way too much weight too fast. And no matter what I did, I couldn't gain weight. And I got down to 32.2 kgs, and fuck, I looked terrible. I looked so sick. I was bones. I looked fucking anorexic. And everyone accused me of being on meth and everything like that. And they had no idea, I was breaking free from a toxic relationship. I was a solo mum. I was preparing to have fucking twins. I was unsupported and being stalked and fucking harassed and all that kind of shit. And it was fucking terrible. And yeah, and then I ended up in hospital because my organs started fucking failing. And then I decided that I was just gonna go straight fucking weed. And then because it worked for me. I smoked throughout pretty much my entire fucking life, and it didn't just help with, I didn't realize it was helping with my seizures, but when I got my diagnosis, that is one of the medications for it. Anyway, it also helped, with my anxiety and keep my head straight with everything that was fucking going on. And yeah, and then I fucking butted heads with the health system here because it's illegal here. You're not allowed it unless you've got a medical exemption, and I was fighting to get that fucking medical exemption. And my neurologist at the time, because the one that I usually had, she wasn't here. She had left, and so they gave me this other one, and he was a fucking idiot. And like they kept gaslighting me, and I ended up doing my own fucking research, and I didn't realize, the amounts of different forms of epilepsy that there are. And I was, going through all my symptoms and, narrowing it down to like a certain couple. It came down to like 2 different forms. And so I went to my appointment, and like constantly fighting the health system. And this dude was like, well, we're not going to give you weed. We know you want it, so we're not going to give it to you. And then I was like, butting heads with him because I'm like, it's not a case of wanting it. It's a case of, medically using it as my medication. And he's like, yeah, but in order to diagnose you with this, you need to have this showing on your brain scan, and the spikes on this one need to be, around here and all this kind of shit. And I was like, but they are, they are. Why are you not seeing it? And my daughter came with me to this appointment, and yeah, shit was getting pretty heated, and I could see her looking at me like, Mum, keep your mouth shut. We're not, you're not getting arrested today in here. And then he's like looking through my notes, and he's like, oh, yes, but no, we're not gonna give it to you. And by then I was like, you fucking cunt. Anyway, I said to him, I was like, you're a fucking dickhead. And my daughter looked at me like, oh fuck, here we go. And he was like, oh thanks. And I was like, eh? You're the first person to ever thank me for calling them a fucking dickhead. Anyway, I was like, no, I want to take this higher. I want an opinion from someone that has more, your boss. I want a higher person's opinion on this. And so he sent my medical records and this letter saying that, I'd been asking for cannabis for years, to fucking be prescribed and shit. Because that's how long it takes to go through our health system. Like, you bring in for an appointment, and then what, 6 to 9 months later, you get a letter saying that, yep, your appointment is being looked at, kind of shit. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, he's like, oh well, they're not going to message back for at least 3 to 6 months, and all this kind of shit. You'll probably hear something around 5 months. And I was like, that's no problem, just get this fucking ball rolling. And then I got an email like the next fucking day, and this dude, the epilepsy specialist of our country, at one of our biggest universities, looked over my stuff and was like, yes, so prescribe her this amount of CBD and tell her to like up her dosage and all this kind of shit. And I was like, see, I fucking knew it. They had me diagnosed wrong. But yeah, I finally got the exemption to be able to have CBD oil and shit like that. But I decided to not. When I go, it's time for me to go, and I know no matter what I do in the meantime, it's not going to change that outcome. And so I decided that I want to go out with a vessel that's as clean as possible. So I'm ridding my body of shit that is man-made, kind of thing. And I don't trust the government. I don't trust any of their products. And if I was going to use cannabis, I'd be smoking it. And yeah. But I smoke way too much anyway. My tolerance is fucking out the gate. So I was smoking over an ounce a week. And it's quite expensive. It was costing me nearly about 300 a week. But the government shit is like way more expensive, like way more fucking expensive. And yeah, I don't trust the government. So yeah, I'm just going to carry on unmedicated and do my best to look after my avatar while I'm in this realm. And yeah, just that one more addiction to quit, which is the vape, and slowly getting there. But yeah, so my form of epilepsy is called Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, and it's kind of like all the epilepsies rolled into one. It's quite rare to have, and so I have full grand mal seizures, as well as partial seizures and myoclonus and absent seizures. Oh, see, there goes a bit of a twitch. I'm trying not to make my arm twitch. But they're not the grand mal. Those ones are the big full-on fucking ones that kill you. And my absent ones, well, I just zone out, like hard out. But you can see in my eyes, like you can see when I'm having one. And the partial seizures suck because it's only like a small part of your body that's having it. And the myoclonus is really annoying because it's like full-on muscle spasms, and like sometimes my whole side of my face will just be like going like this, or a bit of my back. And the twitches are pretty intense. They can be quite full-on jerks, and I've stabbed the roof of my mouth with my fork, because it's fucking just gone like I don't know, when I'm taking a fucking mouthful, and then it's twitch. And yeah. But yeah, so that's my medical condition. But yeah, but we're all ticking time bombs, really. We never know when it's gonna be our last day, our last minute, our last second. So that's why I live, grateful as fuck for even waking up. Like I do. I think the creator, I think the universe. I thank you, for giving me another opportunity in this realm. And yeah, so that's my condition. Anyway, have a lovely fucking day and keep on keeping on.